Yeah, we have heard a lot. We have heard about what the project team has done. We have received two wonderful scientific contributions that show the relevance of the data for what we are doing. And now let's look into the next steps. And as we have heard, some of the experiments on the moon and instruments had been shut down due to funding reasons. We are happy with our heatflow world that this will not happen here because GFZ decided to take over this as a permanent infrastructure. And this, thank you very much. This is a very big issue for the community to ensure the long-term consistent availability of the whole platform. So when we started 5 years ago, we started from scratch with no money, just with the vision that we want to create and rebuild and support the community to make a kind of international collaboration to update and assess the global data. We had support from the International Lithosphere program, which helped to coordinate the whole efforts. And then we raised money from the DFG. So they were really convinced of the whole project. We set up the World Heatflow Database project and created this fair infrastructure we have presented to you guys today. Now, today we have the portal launch and there are years to come. So the DFG funded another round of project, the so-called World Heatflow Portal project, which will be a consolidation phase of what we have developed. It will also help us to elevate the impact on science we do and will ensure that what we brought to life today and you can then use will be further developed based on the things, the needs you can feedback to us. And officially, it will also then start to be an official infrastructure here. So there's no question anymore whether you can trust that the data are available in a week, in a year, or maybe even longer, right? So what are the main 3 steps in the next phase? That is basically, we will finish the data assessment on a global scale. We will extend the database to further applications, and we want to build really a fully integrated community portal that serves the needs you have as scientists. What does it mean step by step? Finalizing the data assessment means that we substantially extended the literature sources, we substantially extended the amount of data, and we will increase to around 125,000 data points to the end of the assessment, maybe like this, and likely close to 2,000 publications that are implemented. This is really a big growth compared to what we took over a couple of years ago, and I think really also shows that we have discovered a lot of things that hasn't been considered so far, and with that we help people to get visible in the past and also in the future. The second point is really we want to extend the database. This is what we have done. So we have created the database for heat flow densities, so for data and observation. But in future, we want to extend the structure also to thermal rock properties, to high quality temperature profiles that help for climate analysis, and more importantly, to the results of numerical modeling. As you know, there are not only data papers, there are a lot of modeling efforts, and all these efforts reasonably come out with heat flow grids and surface heat flow grids. And while we are thinking about how to map heat flow, and we can think about statistical interpolations and we can think about numerical inversion, it's fair to offer a place where those kind of grids and information can also be processed in parallel to the actual data. This is what we plan in the second phase as well. Third, a fully integrated community portal. What does it mean? For us, it means that we bring together all these aspects, the researchers, the publications, the data, the software, the institutes, and all the aspects you can think of if you think about a community network. It is driven by the wish that we make heat flow research visible, that we enable everyone on this planet who would like to take the chance to work on heat flow data, to collaborate with each other, and probably also to improve the heat flow science itself. So doing standardization is just valuable if people accept these standards. So If the community, and this was the case, is developing these standards, then you have a high degree of acceptance, and this is really a big benefit that also serves these kind of community portal. Learning and teaching resources are really a major step we want to go in the second phase, because it will help also to recruit young scientists. And as you know, heat flow is a special topic. There are legions of people who use the data, but only few really understand to create these data and to publish this. And we need to attract young scientists to do exactly this job. You have seen 7% of the overall Earth surface are just covered with data. This is very little. So beyond of these things and steps in the second phase, of course, we have ideas for the far future and not so close near future. We have a fellowship program running with almost 20 fellows from all continents internationally in the past 3 years, and we want to consolidate this. There are scientific products we have in mind. We want to enhance the impact because honestly, what we have done in the past years is really the groundwork. It's a dirty data cleaning and organizing, and it's not the exciting science. The exciting science, we have the chance to do this right now. If some energy is left, guys, yeah, so we need to go for that. And of course, we need to enhance strategic partnerships with different branches. We'll look a bit into that. That are some of the fellows we had in the past. So these summer schools and fellowship programs are quite important because for 2 or 3 months, young researchers, senior researchers can work on specific problems in one of the hosting institutions. And it just fosters collaboration and helps the overall database and so on. The second point is developing scientific data products would be really the valuable outcome of the second phase. What does it mean? This is what we have looked on when we saw the heat flow data in the past. So we knew there were a lot of things in it, and it had all the same color, right? With attributing metadata, we are now able to understand how those sticks are looking like, and it means we can sort them, we can organize them, and we understand now the multi-dimension. We understand uncertainties, methodological reliability, and the side effects. That are the different dimensions we need to understand for heat flow. And this is possible only now because beforehand everything was gray. It means also that if we want to understand these data and the dimensions, for the first time we can react to user-specific requirements. So if you are a biologist or a geodynamicist or a climate researcher, you need to understand heat flow in a different way. And different metadata are important for you to understand what this boundary condition in most cases really reflects. This means with the new data products, you can tailor the data set as you need it. And this is, I think, a very, very big step forward. Also a step forward that we can create these kind of products that have the same definition. So a fully terrestrial surface heat flow data set is in sight and can be achieved in a couple of years. But for that, obviously, we need other stuff, other levels on which we need to work. For example, in the labs of the world, we need to work on corrections for global reservoir conditions, which means we need to consider effects like pressure and temperature on thermal rock property measurements. There has been a lot of done, but it's not sufficient to go for these kind of global corrections, and there's more that needs to be done, and we will do these things also on GFZ, hopefully in collaboration with others in the online community. Wait. A second point is that we also want to extend the data. And this is just maybe a crazy idea, but maybe we are able in the future to create heat flow transects in the ocean. So can we use fiber optical cables for this kind of research? It's just an idea and an imagination, but it would be pretty cool if you imagine how little or how few data points we actually have from the oceans. So we need to find different and new ways to generate data that serves the idea of this kind of global heat flow database, and also to enhance the impact. As International Heat Flow Commission, also visible in the IHFC, we are somehow organized in this kind of IASPA IUG frame, and we are also be successful in these International Leaders Fair program, but that are international research organizations, right? So we want to go beyond, and going beyond means also being a bit in a policy direction. So a part could be the Global Ocean Observing System, which is based on UNESCO and UN Environment Program. Why do we go for that? Because the GOUS defines also the Panel for Physics and Climate, and they have something called Essential Ocean Verbal. And we want to transform the standard we have created with heatflow into these EOVs, because then it becomes mandatory for all oceanographic expeditions in the future. So it would dramatically increase the number of data we can create in the future. So this is one thought we have into future, but we don't think it's important to work on a global scale alone. Going on the smaller scale, on the national or regional scale, is even more important, because there is the base work. And one example could be the heatflow competence network we think about to build up next year for Germany, Austria, and Swiss, which basically is looking and focusing on information, coordination instruments, but also on education and teaching. Because going to universities, ensuring that we have young scientists that are educated in heatflow and all the related branches of science is really important. Otherwise, we die if you have no one else coming, right? And this also including these kind of more local regional would mean that in our case, we deal with GeoX, GAP, so more local initiatives based or focusing on teaching. But this needs to be done in different countries, not only here. We need to support this around the world because this is, let's say here, a global project. And finally, all these things serve the idea of enabling the research integration in these major fields of research where heatflow really is important. At GFZ, this really attributes our baseload funding scheme, the way how we work here and the fields we are working on presently, but also in the future. And with that, I would like to summarize those. Heatflow.world hopefully will be a resource for you where you can receive trusted data, where you can play around with this data, where you can start collaborations with people you wouldn't have imagined that you could easily contact. And I hope that it then serves your scientific needs. And we would be glad also then to receive your feedback and your contributions to that. Thank you very much.